Hello, my name is Jordan Belgrand, and welcome to Wing Chun Qigong. I wanted to make an announcement. This coming February 2024, for 3 months, I'll be running the Silnim Dao Qigong course. If you're interested in taking this course, it's open to everybody, beginners, advanced, it doesn't matter. Um, there is no preliminary course for this. Um, there are courses that have been created that are on the site and that I have run over the course of 2023. They do assist, but they're not a necessity. And we'll be covering multiple topics in order to accomplish the goal of Silnim Dao. Now, the goal of it is simply not the movements themselves. The goal of it is, if we use the name itself, the Sil Nim Dao state or Nim Dao state. This is a state of mind that is accomplished in practicing correct meditation. If we refer back to different arts, such as yoga itself, if we have a look at the last three categories of the 8 limbs of Patanjali Sutra, we have Dharana, Jhana, Samadhi. And these are the mind aspects of yoga. They are the same aspects that are used inside of Silnim Dao. So the mind component of this training and its goal is that, and there will be a 12-week course whereby that component will be explained, or components, so that you can practice effectively in your own training to reach those states. There are other components of the Silnim Dao, such as the energy work, and we'll be describing that in detail as well as the body mechanics. And all of those will be outlined. As a reason why there are no prerequisites, well, this is usually the first course that is taught when you begin your training in Wing Chun. In the school that I've created, I actually have a number of other preliminaries. And after taking this course, if you find that I really want to hone in on those preliminaries and grasp the whole thing in much more detail, then you can go back and train those. The reason why I can split it is because if you look at last year's training, I went through a full Qigong course entering into what's called Nai Gong, or internal Qigong. That aspect is integrated within the Silnim Dao. And what I noted with teaching the students, and also through the years of my own progression, if you simply just do Qigong, that was just all you did, then through that Qigong and your interests were in meditation, you will find that you can traverse that path. One of the things when Bodhidharma came from India to China and his first student approached him, he said to the student, well, why don't you try and move me? And the student tried to move him as he was seated, and he was immovable. Now, the manner in which he achieved this is the structural alignment of his body and the biomechanics of his body. And then once that's achieved, you can layer in other things such as energetic work, mental work, and then beyond. When people practice solely just Qigong and at times meditation, they can miss that aspect. And when it comes to martial arts, it's something you just can never miss. So you either do that and you can succeed. If you miss that, you will then fail. Hence why I can see why Silnan Dao is the first training course. It makes perfect sense for martial arts. When teaching these students, because they're interested in martial arts and they're also interested in Qigong, when I taught them the Qigong components, they can exhibit the qualities as I would expect from a beginning student. But when I then tried to teach them certain types of movements that go with that Qi quality, I could see that they would not be able to achieve that. So I knew at that placing that it needed to be a separate course in itself, and it fits wonderfully within Silnan Tao. The other challenge is when people go to learn Silnan Tao, it's an extremely advanced form of Qigong. And in order to enter into that, it is quite difficult with that form. Hence why these other courses were created to support that. So there will be a piece in here for students who are absolute beginners that probably near the end, you might be feeling, I got the body mechanic type structure of the Silnan Tao. I started to sort of understand the qualitative mind essence and the energetic work, but it's hard to bring them all together. It is possible that you just continue to practice and it will come together. But I have streamlined that by creating these other courses so you can dive deep into that. I've mastered that, come back out, next one, dive, I understand now, dive into this, come back up. And as you do that, then you're very ripe for Silnan Dao. Nonetheless, you will have these qualities that you haven't achieved, and you need that from Silnan Dao. So it doesn't matter if you start at the Silnan Dao end and you progress into those other courses, or you do these courses and progress the other way. Because they're all cyclical in the manner of which they combine together to produce the fruit of your work. Some of the interesting things in this course is that I will be drawing on multiple years of experience from different teachers. And because this is an internal course, I will be leveraging from the Shaolin White Crane. I'll be leveraging from Ermei. I'll be leveraging from Tibetan Buddhism. I'll be touching on things such as the 6 core elements, as well as the 6 harmonies. And I'll also be touching on components of Tai Chi. The reason for looking into each of these components is because it allows you as the student that if I give the first week training and you only grasp it a little, but if I repeat the same thing, students kind of feel like they can get bored, or if they don't understand, only those who are strongly committed keep butting their head up against a wall until some sort of realization comes. But how I've addressed this problem is that I provide these other schools because they're all pointing to the same thing. And it gives you the chance to muddle around in your head these different perspectives from these different lineages and masters, because pieces of them will begin to stick, and you'll begin to look at it from multiple dimensions until you will have that realization of, that's what it is. You need to understand that with this type of training, you can't just perform the Silnam Dao without this information and think it will magically happen. You have to have the theoretical understanding within the mind to such a point that if I asked you, please just write it out. What is it? Even if you can't do it, at least you know what it is. This is what it is. With that, you can wake up every day knowing what it is and then try and practice that knowing. When that intellectual knowing becomes the absolute experience, then you truly have you have grasped it. From there, you don't need me to teach you or anybody. You simply need to practice that thing. And what will happen is it will get embedded within you, and over time, it will come out in its own unique way. So the way I practice Sunim Tao and teach you, in 3 years, it will be different for you. And you may think, I think I've lost it because I'm doing this, but it's not. You're just growing in your own way. Another 3 years, again, growing in your own way. Another 3 years, growing in your own way. But you will get out of this course that you don't have to go searching around for all of these different things. Did I miss something? Is there? It's all provided to you. And you can take that with you wherever you go. And like me, after I completed my training, then I went and looked elsewhere and compared. Is this one better than that? Is this factual or is it built on nonsense? And thankfully, the teachings that were provided to me had a large degree of fidelity. Not all of them were, after going through this experience of pressure testing them, what I'd call 100% correct. Now, that can be one of two reasons. I didn't listen correctly, my understanding wasn't there, or something like a falsehood was passed down from student to teacher somewhere. But at least I've found that and corrected it. And this course is that superset of all my corrections through all of those learnings, and wish to provide that to you. I hope that makes sense. It will add a completely different dimension to your training. If I have a look around, one of the similarities, although not identical, is there are multiple teachers that I have engaged with, and I will be drawing on their knowledge because that's what I practice. And the practices that bore fruit and produce results is what's in this course. In addition, that type of work probably began a decade ago, and I've been working on that ever since. The other part is the alignment of this training, depending on what you wish to get out of it going forward. Different people have different focuses, whether it be on their health, whether it be on their martial proficiency, whether it be on meditation, whether it be on, it can be on things as flexibility as well, right? So there are many different aspects, and the entire Wing Chun Qigong syllabus, made up of multiple courses, has all of those components as focal points where people can pick and choose. That's the path I wish. With this training, I will be online with you. It won't be one-on-one. There will be other participants in the call who will be training alongside of you. So they will ask questions and you can ask questions. Because of this, it adds another dimension. Then it's just me creating a video and posting that, and then that's up to you to interpret. I'm looking at a 12-week course, and I'm going to be doing looking at around $150 per month, which brings it up to $450. Some of you might think that's cheap. Some of you might think that's expensive, but that's all relative. I wish to call out to you that when I took this course, I paid $3,000, and the material from that is in this course with much, much more. So much more has been found since that discovery and is all embedded in this course, so that when you come out of it, you'll know what I mean, that I've probably given too much. But that's my way to sort of determine, well, what if I get that unique student who can just absorb it all? Well, they can take all of that, but then there will be other people who can't. But at least you know you'll have that material, you can watch it at any time, and you can progress through that thing. I have and will set the course up in such a way that each week you learn one thing new, at least one thing. There'll be multiple things, but that allows you to practice that one thing and ingrain it over 7 days. If you can get up and train 7 days, if you only get up 5 days, you only ingrain 5 days. So then you begin to layer that in before the next new thing. And hopefully, when you get to that next week, you've had a week of practice, so you've got a slight stability in that you can just do it without so much thought, so you can take your attention onto the next thing. This is really about a game of attention, and how many of these programs you can run simultaneously to produce the desired result. One of those is, of course, the generation of jinn. There are multiple types of jinn that are expressed inside of Wing Chun. We will be going through those jinn components. One of the things I struggled with for years, and I won't name the school because I think it's a good school, and I think I had a great teacher and all those sort of things, but I recall I struggled for so long on this aspect that seemed so esoteric. And I spent multiple lessons each week. I would write multiple notes. I've got diaries and diaries of the stuff down there. And I eventually sort of gave it up, and I went to another teacher and did one-on-one training, and he never spoke of those things. And he was also a disciple of Yip Man. So it made a very strange for me. Why are they both students of Yip Man, and this one teaches all of this stuff, and this one teaches just these like 3 things over and over and over? And where do they meet? I finally, after much searching, found how it's actually one whole system. And these things had been somehow disparate as they went through the students. Potentially, each student didn't spend enough time and learn the whole thing, or Grandmaster Yip Man decided to teach different components to different students based on what they liked. You never know why that occurred, but it has. And so we are, or I am presenting that investigative work back as a holistic system. This explains why this Silnim Dao course will have so much information from all of these Chinese martial arts, because when it comes to the internal, there are repeated techniques, intentions, and patterns within each of them. And if you can understand the kernel of that, then everything else makes sense. And you realize that they only look different in form only. You'll also note that the depth of all these things requires a greater degree of training in Qigong. Now, there are people such as a Choi Shong Tin, who they call, the king of Sunim Dao, and it's all he did. And then he came and tried to teach other people this thing. And even he admits that he failed. And one of his wishes was, before he died, that somebody could actually take the kernel of this, and so it can be handed over, that people can fully grasp what he was pointing to. The reason why this is so difficult is what I began with this speech. It's that mind state. And that mind state, many people go seeking for it, and many more fail. But he was a very unique case, and especially in the way he understood the Sin and Tao, that he achieved that. There are much easier techniques. There is a pathway that you can practice those things to get you to that place. And this pathway has been embedded in the Chinese martial arts. It has been deprecated through the revolutions that occurred throughout China. It has also been deprecated because of all the masters who hid this information and then ended up dying. And so what we need is a different way to teach, a more open way, where these things are not withheld and they are provided so people can get the full picture. And those who fully understand can then be provided with, given that Sifu title. And then that means they've mastered the technique, and they can teach that technique to the next generation. That's what I am hoping to achieve out of this course, courses, I should say, that there will be students out there who take these courses and they can practice solo, but if they have a group of people, even better, that you can practice with the sticky hands and progress onto martial training. But before all of that, they need to at least be provided the right knowledge. This course gives that first step in getting that knowledge back out to the general public. If you wish to know more, please visit the website, wingchunqigong.com. You will see a contact page. You can put your details in. That will notify me. You will also see my email up there, sifujordan@wingchunqigong.com, and you can write to me. I'll be running these courses Australian Eastern Daylight Time, and they start at 6 a.m. and they finish at 7. I'll probably set aside something else where there can be Q&A at a different time. during that course. If you're in a different time zone, it should work out because it's so early in the morning, you can probably be in your evening. But if it doesn't work out, then what you'll have is the online libraries that you can just watch at any time, and they will come out on a weekly basis. All right. Thanks for your time. And if you'd like to notify me, I provided the contact details. If you think this would help anybody else, please give this a like or add some comments below. Thank you.